Come on, come on, come on, go, 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 get! Damn ghost, I'm dead again. Hey, sorry about that. I'm DJ Lunaire, and welcome to the third episode of the Gaming DJ. Today, I'll be taking a look at one of the granddaddies of classic video gaming, the ever-popular Pac-Man. Developed by Namco employee Toru Iwatani, Pac-Man, then called Puck-Man, was released to Japan May 22, 1980. When the game was localized, it was thought Puck-Man would be too easily vandaled into something less family-friendly, but tends to create families. And here it is, Pac-Man, the game that created the maze game genre. You take control of our yellow hero Pac-Man and munch dots through mazes to save the day. And here to make Pac-Man's life a living hell are the ever-hated ghosts, Inky, Pinky, Blinky, and Clyde. One of these things doesn't belong. As you travel the maze, eating dots and trying not to be eaten yourself, you'll come across energizers that can scare the bejesus out of the ghosts because Pac-Man can now eat them too. Every so often, twice a stage, a piece of bonus fruit will appear in the middle of the maze for a short time. The game gets harder as you progress. The ghosts start moving faster, and the energizers eventually become useless. It is possible, though, to play a perfect game. This was done July 3rd, 1999 by Billy Mitchell of Hollywood, Florida. He played through every board of this game, all the way up to the split screen, level 256, without losing a single life, eating every pellet and every blue ghost, to achieve a perfect score of 3,333,360 points. That's a lot of points. Pac-Man grew in such popularity that it spawned in an animated series, as well as an empire of merchandise including clothes, cereal, jewelry, stationery, and even bras. There's also a Buckner and Garcia song, Pac-Man Fever. It also spawned several lesser-known sequels, including Super Pac-Man, Pac-and-Pal, and Professor Pac-Man, a failed attempt at a quiz game. There were also some good sequels to Pac-Man, though. Let's take a look. In 1982, the world was introduced to Pac-Man's maiden fair, Ms. Pac-Man. This game was originally an unauthorized project by Midway, who released Pac-Man in America, but Namco adopted Ms. Pac-Man into their canon. The gameplay is the same as the original, with a few changes. Fruit no longer sits still in the middle of the maze, but rather bounces from one exit pipe, of which there's now 2, to the other side. There's more boards this time, for a total of 4. This game, though, was designed for younger players, because it is significantly easier than the original. 1984 saw the release of Junior Pac-Man, another unauthorized game by Midway, but this one was never canonized by Namco. You take control of the Pac-Man's son, guiding him through a side-scrolling maze. The boards are huge, and this game's much more of a challenge than Ms. Pac-Man or even the original. The ghosts seem to actively hunt out Junior. There are no warp pipes, and the fruit's been replaced by toys that change dots into bigger dots worth more points, but they slow down Junior immensely. All in all, though, the arcade Pac-Man games were really good, and I can't really find anything to complain about them. However, we now enter the Atari zone. This is where things get scary. These games are horrible, and the Atari 2600 port of Pac-Man is one of the things that started the great video game crash of 1983. It's no wonder. Look at this! What happened to Pac-Man? He and the ghosts are deformed beyond recognition, and the mazes from the arcade classic are completely missing. Dots are in strange places, bonus fruit are just big squares, and the warp pipe is at the top and bottom of the screen. Controls are sloppy and horribly slow. The only redeeming feature of this game is Pac-Man's "fuck you" when he eats a ghost. Pac-Man's girlfriend didn't fare any better. The maze is pink. So what? The same issues exist as before. The only thing remnant of the arcade is the moving bonus fruit. I used to play the 2600 port of Junior Pac-Man for hours on end. Playing it again now, I wonder how I could. This is the only sanctioned port of the game, and it was released after the game crash in 1987, but with a 1984 copyright date. Like his parents, Junior's transition to the Atari is shameful. The boards are still ugly, the controls still sloppy, sound effects still horrible. The ghosts are still smarter and harder, though. I'm glad we made it out of there alive. Those were some pretty horrible ports. But they were among the first home versions of these titles. It wasn't until a few years later that Pac-Man was finally, faithfully ported to the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now this is Pac-Man at home, The mazes are recreated nicely, and the game actually looks like the arcade, but without the quarters. Controls are still a little sticky, but I'm gonna chalk that up to me using an emulator. Even the cutscenes between some of the stages from the arcade versions have been recreated, if slightly nest. My only complaint is that the gameplay has been slowed down significantly from the original. Unfortunately, there is still a bad port. This is Namco's own port of their own game to the NES. It's pretty disappointing. The game is ugly. Why is the maze this sick shade of pea soup green? And can someone please tell me why the ghosts turn purple? The gameplay, like Pac-Man, has been slowed down, and the sound effects cut in and out. It's actually pretty shameful, and about as much fun as the Atari port. I've saved the best for last. Tengen also ported Ms. Pac-Man to the NES, and they did it well. This is the best port out of any that I've personally played. Not only has the arcade mode been kept true to form, but Tengen also took the liberty of adding several brand new mazes. Here at the startup option screen, you can change your difficulty, select what level you start on, only up to level 7 though, and change your board type. There's mini-maps, in which the mazes are squished and compressed. There's giant maps, easily 50% larger than the standard arcade. And then there's the strange mazes. These have got to be my favorite because they're so different from any other Pac-Man maze, including things like big loops that the ghosts get caught and confused in, and even a level that features very little maze and Ms. Pac-Man is able to move about freely. And there you have it. Pac-Man's been around for 28 years, and he's not showing any signs of slowing down, with new games being released all the time. The arcade classics were original, creative, and groundbreaking for the time. They definitely deserve a full-scale 5 discs. The Atari, though, really didn't stand the test of time, and to be honest, the games were pretty crappy for back when they were released. I just can't bring myself to score any of them higher than 1 disc out of 5. Nintendo, however, gets a very honorable second place there, with 4.5 discs. The only reason I can't give these the full 5 is because Namco's sad port of Ms. Pac-Man. The Pac family is still going strong, and so am I. Thanks for watching The Gaming DJ. I'll be back before you know it with a new game to check out. Until then, this is DJ Lunaire saying peace and love be with you, whoever you may be. Now if you'll excuse me, I have some ghosts that I gotta eat. Start up, insert coin. Come on, Pac-Man. Get, go, go, go! Yes! Ha, gotcha! You're not getting away from me. I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you. Oh, damn it! Walked right into the damn thing. Let's go again. Come on, Pac-Man. We can do this. Come on. Up that way. Yes. No, get that way. Why do I even bother? Come on. This is your last life, Pac-Man. You gotta do this. Come on. Oh my god. How did I manage to play these games for this episode? Cut to the gameplay. I'm out of here. I quit.